Thank you for joining us for this week's edition of Southwest Connections, our new campus-based show that lets you meet some of the great people that make Southwest the wonderful place that it is. I'm Bill Mulso, the host of our show, and let's meet this week's guest. This week I'm excited to welcome in Jen Graven. Jen's the Director of Marketing and Promotions for Athletics at SMSU and also serves as the Executive Director of the Mustang Booster Club. So welcome to the show, Jen.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you always have an exciting job, lots of different things going on, and with your role in athletics. So tell us a little bit about yourself and the responsibilities you have working within athletics and the Mustang Booster Club.
I've been in the athletic department for over 7 years and have been fortunate to manage all of our special events, whether that be our largest fundraiser, the Gold Rush Raffle, or the Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational. Also, I'm fortunate to work with the Mustang Booster Club and all of our loyal boosters throughout the year, whether it be through the membership drive or the special events. And then also the day-to-day marketing and promotions. So it keeps me pretty busy.
This year obviously has been a challenging year with a lot of different events getting canceled or moved and formats changing. How have these major changes impacted some of the events that you typically would hold in a year?
Well, the back end of the year is pretty loaded with events, as we're all hoping for the vaccine to come and for us to be able to have more people at our events and on campus. So the end of the year, we'll have our Golf Classic and our Gold Rush Raffle in June.
Gold Rush Raffle is always a big one that people look forward to taking part in. I know kind of mid-year, it's usually held this time of year typically, and so it'll be a little different this year when you have to move it to, as you say, later in the year.
Yeah, June 5th is the date, so save the date. Hoping that we'll have fewer restrictions and be able to really celebrate.
So you mentioned Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational, and I want to talk a little bit about that one today. I think it's a pretty exciting event, and maybe it's providing you with some of your biggest challenges this year, but let's talk more about that event and give us an overview and history of what the Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational is, first of all.
Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational is an FFA event. We have hosted it here on campus 9 years. I've been a part of it for 7 of those years. And when I started 7 years ago, we had 4 teams competing in 4 CDEs. So we have now grown. Last year on campus, we had 19 CDEs and over 650 participants on campus from 38 different schools.
Big changes. So that event obviously would not be possible without the support of Ralco. Ralco, as many people know, has been a sponsor of the Ag Bowl, but also this Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational. Tell us a little bit about what their support means for SMSU and Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational.
Ralco is very committed to SMSU and is a great partner of us from an athletic standpoint. Ag Bowl, which is tied to a football game, has happened for 14 years, and we were unable to have it this year with us not having fall sports. And after having Ag Bowl and really using a football game to celebrate agriculture with fun activities, educational opportunities prior to the game, and then really just celebrating agriculture with a football game. After that, Ralco really wanted to grow into or reach out to students, and the Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational was created. So it started out very small and has grown to us having the 19 CDEs, and every year deciding should we add more, or should we remove some, what should we do? So we definitely have not tapped out our opportunity with this event.
So you talked about early on here, you talked a little bit about how it started out with just 4 schools and 4 events, and it's grown over the years. How many participating schools and students typically compete, and what are you expecting this year?
So last year we had 38 schools with over 650 kids. With us moving to a virtual format this year, we had no idea what we would get from a registration standpoint, and we are currently at 56 schools with almost 900 students. So really excited at the reach and new schools that have registered for this competition with it being virtual.
900 students getting exposed to SMSU, that's pretty exciting.
Very exciting, especially when we do have the competition in person each year. We offer up campus tours in hopes that a chapter will take advantage of that and see our campus with them being on campus that day. But a lot of times schools need to get back in order to get on the bus, to get to activities after school, and some just are not able to take advantage of that tour. So what's great with us going virtual this year is that almost 900 students will be doing a virtual tour of SMSU.
How far has that reach broadened? I know you mentioned, over 50 schools. How far away?
South Dakota, Iowa, Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, schools that never would have been able to make it to SMSU by 7:30 a.m. on a Friday morning to register. That's even assuming the weather is great.
Yeah, because that's been a challenge. We know a number
Absolutely.
of years. So you talked about CDEs. So teams and individuals will be competing in what we call career development events, or CDEs. Tell us a little bit about the CDEs that students will have the opportunity to participate in.
We have a wide range of CDEs. Some really focus on speaking, and some are usually more hands-on, whether they be floriculture, where you're building a corsage, milk quality, where you're tasting and testing milk and cheeses. We had to be a little bit creative this year in the portions of the test that we have been able to include. We're excited to have them make fake corsages, with silk flowers, opposed to using real flowers, which they normally do when they're on campus. But I think we've done a good job of being innovative and creative in order for them to compete and for us to keep all 19 CDEs this year.
Are any of those CDEs unique to SMSU, or are they all CDEs that students would typically compete in around the state?
They are staple CDEs that individuals compete in Minnesota, and we are a regional qualifier for one region in Minnesota for the state competition. So we're excited about being that regional qualifier this year. With us being an invitational, anyone is available to attend. We just adhere to the Minnesota FFA guidelines in regards to each of the tests.
So I imagine going to this virtual delivery method has probably provided some different challenges for some rather than others. You mentioned the corsages. Any other things unique that you had to do to deliver these CDEs virtually?
We've had to be very creative in the way we've used Zoom and our internal D2L system. So in ways to provide a image for them to identify, what that animal is, or opposed to us usually having stuffed animals for them to judge, we now are needing to rely on a lot of photography and video.
I imagine everybody's become well versed in how Zoom works. You mentioned one, that D2L, that's probably unique to the higher ed environment. Tell folks a little bit of how D2L works.
So each of the students that will be participating will be provided a username and password to access our D2L site, where we have created an Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational portal. They will then be provided a competition experience where they will receive a welcome from the president, a welcome from Brian Nakamas, the president of Ralco, information on SMSU as well as Ralco, and then instructions on how they need to compete. So we feel very fortunate that we do have a system in place where it will really help us, even from individuals looking at each other's tests with randomizing questions. If you're taking a test and I'm taking a test, we're not all on question 1, 2, 3, 4 together, because every school is really dealing with different challenges, whether it be hybrid or the winter weather. D2L is giving these students the opportunity, whether they're at home, to be given a time to start a test and finish a test, or if they're in school.
Sounds like the technology is really giving you the opportunity to still be able to showcase SMSU,
Yes.
and replace some of those things that you normally would be able to do when you're in person. So
Absolutely.
it's a great way to take advantage of that. Judges are a very important part of these contests. There are a lot of people that are involved in that grading and scoring when it comes to these contests. How are you engaging judges, and who typically serves as judges for these CDEs?
We reach out to our Ag Bowl corporate sponsors and ask them first to help from a judging standpoint. And we do receive quite a few judges from Ralco. We found over the years that the judges almost get as much out of the competition as the students do. It's fulfilling in a day where an individual works for an agriculture company and sees an excited, shining star that's excited about what they're doing and competing. And it's fun to give feedback to those individuals. So I think they end up leaving at the end of the day almost as if they won the competition opposed to the students.
It's always fun when you can make those industry connections for those students too, get a chance to meet some additional people.
Absolutely.
We call it a scholarship invitational. What are students competing for on the scholarship front?
Students are competing, whether they're team or individual competitions, for scholarship dollars to go towards their education at SMSU. So first place, second place, individuals and teams receive scholarship dollars that can be used if they choose to attend SMSU. We have also added a few scholarships for our college students, in that the Ag Club, which I hadn't mentioned yet, plays a huge role in the Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational. And those Ag Club students have really taken a leadership role. And we now are awarding scholarships to a couple of students that will take that leadership role and really help, because there are so many things that need to be done over the course of an entire year to put on an event like this.
You last week just unveiled and surprised one of our students, Haley Nearing, with a scholarship on behalf of Ag Bowl. You want to speak to that a little bit, because that was pretty exciting to see.
Very exciting. She was the first individual to receive this scholarship, and she has a couple, I would say, apprentice individuals, Ag Club students, that are excited to really learn from her and her taking her leadership role with the Scholarship Invitational, and it's a lot of work. She's put a lot of work into it, and she did that without knowing she would get anything. And so that's, I think, what's most rewarding is the leadership role she has taken in this competition and on this campus, and to be able to reward her with something.
I think one of the neat things too about Haley is that she's an ag education student, and so she's doing as a college student what she's hopefully going to turn around and do for as a career, and that's bring students to an event like Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational to participate in those things. So
absolutely,
it's fun to see the outcomes of this type of thing play out. Haley's just one person, but there are a lot of people that go into pulling off an event like this. Who are some of the others that are involved with you on the planning side and helping pull it off? And I know you mentioned Ag Business Club or the Ag Club, so we want to make sure we lift them up too.
Absolutely. We have a great team in place, Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational Advisory Council, and we have individuals from Ralco, Ag Club students that play a role, the admission staff, and Ian Weifels, our staff in athletics. From a campus standpoint, we would not be able to do it without the entire campus playing a role in this.
It's a big event on campus, and I know we typically look forward to seeing all those blue jackets around campus. So this year we'll look forward to seeing them on screen. Jen, once again, when is the date and for Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational coming up, and where can people maybe look to find out results?
So the Invitational is usually one day, but with us going virtual, we're doing a week-long competition, February 22nd through the 26th. Tests will be open for the entire week, and our hopes to handle any technical hiccups that we may have on Monday, that individuals would be able to take the test at any time throughout that week. And we will be posting on all social media in regards to results and how we are doing. So smsumustangs.com and SMSU Today on results.
Awesome. So Jen, I have one last question for you. If you could tell a prospective student and their family why SMSU is the best place for them, what would it be?
What wouldn't it be? I would tell them that SMSU is a great place. It's a family. Just talking specifically today about Ag Bowl Scholarship Invitational. And to be honest, with us going virtual this year and all the hurdles that we did have, gets me emotional when I think about, there's no way we couldn't get through this competition without all of our help. I didn't even mention all the IT help. There's no way we would be able to do it. I mean, I'm talking countless hours still need to happen from now until the competition starts next week. And there hasn't been one person that says I can't do it. It's how can we get it done? So I would say we're a great family.
Well, Jen, kudos to you and all the leadership you provide to pull off such an amazing event. I know we all were looking at what can we do with this event this year when we started talking about it, and you've done a great job so far, and we're looking forward to seeing how you pull it off here in the coming weeks, and hopefully give these students a great experience and give them some great exposure to SMSU and the opportunities that we have to offer here. So thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Do. Well, coming up on February 23rd, it's the Cultures on the Prairie Conference. And like many of the events this year, it's had to go to a virtual format. So this year's conference has gone virtual and will be sponsored by the SMSU Office of Diversity and Inclusion, the City of Marshall, Adult Basic Education, the Southwest Minnesota Private Industry Council, and the Southwest Initiative Foundation. To learn more about the event and others happening here on SMSU, I encourage you to check out our website at smsu.edu. Once again, thank you to Jen Graven for joining us today. Tune in again in 2 weeks when Dr. Lori Johansson, Director of Nursing Program here at SMSU, will be our guest on Southwest Connections. Thanks for watching.